The Improved Production Racing Association of Victoria is proudly supported by Prestige Hino, Australia's most awarded Hino dealer, 888 Home Loans for all your mortgage needs, ProCut Tree Services, Melbourne's most trusted for tree and stump removals, DLL Photography and Design, complete website and e-commerce solutions, Traction Tyres and Yokohama Motorsport, performance and safety for road or race. Hello and welcome to Phillip Island, everybody, and welcome to what we hope will be a fitting finale to the 2022 Improved Production Victorian Club Championship. The focus this weekend, it's all on the Over 2 Litre Championship, with 3 people still mathematically in the title hunt. The man they're chasing is the 2021 club champion in Adam Poole. He's been an irresistible force for the last 2 years, but recently it's been the resurgence of Jared Tonks, the second-year man who is within only 11 points of the club championship. Third place at the moment goes to Luke Gretschkumbo. The 3-time champion has got it all to do. He's 84 points behind Poole and mathematically still in the hunt, but does need a little bit of help to make it interesting this weekend. We've started with some beautiful weather, and hopefully there's some beautiful racing on track to close out this year's club championship. So with the top 2 in the championship where they typically are, up the front of the grid, we thought we'd have a bit of a wander further down the field and see how things are going. And we found ourselves with Paul Vuleman, who's inside the top 10 for probably what would be the first time, I think, Paul.
Yeah, first time for a long time. Yeah, like I've made it in the top 10, so it's pretty cool. Pretty happy with it, so yeah.
Not your best lap. I mean, your best lap's in the 49s. You managed to punch out a 51, but you've been experimenting sort of throughout the year with, rear wing on, rear wing off, doing a few different things in quali and race trim. What have you sort of hit on a sweet spot, have you?
No, it just felt nice. Like it's one of those days where I went out. Usually I do sort of 1 or 2 laps and come back in and go, that's good enough. But it just felt nice. I did another lap and it was a little bit better. I thought maybe if I do another one, I thought, I won't wear the old girl out. We'll just come in. So yeah, but it felt nice. The track's nice and yeah, it's good. Had a good run. So.
Yeah, weather was actually not too bad this morning for it. There's been a few sort of grey clouds and sort of spots around, and we know how people do or don't like the rain. What side of the fence are you on?
I love it. I love the wet. Yeah, I like the wet. Yeah, but you've got to be prepared for it. Like last time at Sandown, it was okay, but it was probably I didn't organise myself enough for it. I should have been softened in suspension. But no, it's good. I enjoy the rain. It doesn't bother me from speedway background, so just a bit more slide. So.
Another one of the EA Falcon Brigade here this weekend is Stewie Dearden. Stu, you're one of 4, surprisingly, that's here this weekend. You've been a bit of a mainstay in the series since you debuted a couple of years ago. How have you been finding it?
Fantastic. I love the variety, all the sort of different tracks. It's good to be supported by a few more Falcons. And, there were old sort of saloon cars and they sort of fit perfectly by being allowed a few mods like spoilers and putting sort of a couple of different engines in it. But fantastic bunch of guys and girls, really loving it.
Well, speaking of engines, one of the things you did want to do in the very beginning when we first spoke was put the Barra in it, which you actually have done, I think, a couple of rounds ago.
That's right. Started last year. So I've had, this is sort of basically my second season. Unfortunately, the first one I put it didn't last too long. Found out a couple of weak points, one being oil. pump gears, so I've redone again and had a touch wood really good year this year. Been able to basically, apart from Winton, do every round this year, so that's great.
While the focus is mainly on the top of the over 2 litre standings, a bit further down the order, there is a battle for 4th and 5th at the moment. And Cade, you're in the thick of it with Danny. There's about 100 points or so between you, and you're going to be starting on the same row of the grid for race 1.
Yeah, okay, well, let's hope it's a good race, and we'll see, mate. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if I'm in front of him or if he's in front of me. So, as long as we're all having fun out there, that's the main thing.
Based on the qualifying, you did manage to pip him in terms of the times by a small margin, so it's in your favour for the moment. You have sort of had the edge over him recently, especially at Sandown. I mean, you had a really good performance in race 3 in the wet, which was fantastic to see as well.
Yeah, look, this car's good in the wet. We're struggling here with it this weekend in the dry. So fingers crossed, we're all praying for rain down this end of the field, mate.
Matt, we haven't seen you since Winton last year when you first brought the car out. Unfortunately for us, you're the last of the BMW standing this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. I heard Rob had a bit of an issue with his car. But yeah, I'm having fun. Going good. The car seems reliable, which is it always has been. So happy about that.
Have you actually been to Phillip Island before? I think this might be your first trip, yes?
Yeah, that's correct. Pretty new to Victoria even. Maybe we talked about that last time. I have set foot here before as a spectator, maybe 14 years ago. However, this is first time racing.
How are you finding the track out of curiosity?
It's great fun. I really love it. A bit scary, pretty fast flowing. I haven't been in the car since Winton last year. So yeah, feel a bit green, but going good, enjoying it. It's good fun.
a little bit of family rivalry going on here this weekend. We've got Shane Smith having a bit of a fight with his father Malcolm in the Suzuki Swifts that are prepared by Michael Hopp and Hare Motorsport. And I take it you're having a bit of fun. You finished 2 seconds ahead of your old man.
Yeah, good fun. I'm enjoying it. So I just got to keep him behind me and I'll be good to go.
The cars actually look fairly similar. They are two slightly different models. Performance is pretty close to the same, but you're saying you would like to go a little bit faster.
Yeah, I just got to. He's getting more confident, so I've got to get more confident too. And, yeah.
Well, speaking of confidence, what sort of stuff have you done before jumping in the Suzuki?
Oh, this is my third race, so I've only done Sandown once and here once, and previous to that, just track days in my road-going XL.
I think when the last time we spoke to your father, the goal was to be doing the Bathurst 6 hours. So have you actually managed to achieve that so far? And have you got any more plans to do it again?
Not as yet, we haven't. Dad's probably not going to do this one coming, but I'm hopefully going to do it. So this time I should get off my P's and then hopefully get into Bathurst this coming year. So.
2022 seems to be the year of the debutant. We've got another one here this weekend in Scotch Slink. Yep, hello, put your hand up. It's not a bad time to make your debut in a slightly smaller than usual IP field. How you been going this weekend?
Yeah, good. All a learning experience. I haven't been down here for 6 years, so having to learn a bit of fortitude and get out there on the track. So, no, been good. It's been real good.
Now, the car we're sitting on is a VH Commodore. You've been building this up for a little while. And taken, about 6 or so years for it to actually finally see the light of day?
I reckon we started with this in our garage about 10 years ago. So got it as just a cheap and cherry car off Gumtree or some such, and then the cage, paintwork, the second or third engine and gearbox have been through until we kind of finally got to a point where we think we're good enough to go racing. And so, yeah, it was ready to go about 5-6 years ago, and then went overseas with work and whatever else, and the usual sort of story. And so this is the first proper race for it.
So how you been finding it out there this weekend? It's a pretty daunting track to make your debut, but as I said, it's a slightly smaller field, so it sort of compensates a little bit.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm feeling pretty good until the rain comes in. That's freaking me out a little bit, especially here. We've done all the setup for the car we've done at Winton, which is good, but then you get here and everything happens at 50 to 100 kilometres an hour quicker. And so my brain's still struggling to catch up a bit. The car feels totally different here because it's just such a fast track.
Well, on top of that, you ended up in the top 10 after your first race today, and you still got 2 more to go. So we wish you the best of luck. See how you go for the rest of the weekend.
Awesome. Sounds brilliant. Thank you.
Well, it's the end of season, and as customary, we like to have a chat with the club president. So we've got David Cox here at the bar with thanks to Prestige Hino and Yokohama. David, started out as a really sort of a big bang to the season, big grids, but of course we did have a bit of a somber note at round one that we did pay a tribute to Chris Pateri.
Yes, we certainly did. It's been a really interesting year. It was a fitting way to say goodbye to Chris after many years of being part of the Improved Production family, and we've had a really great year. We've got a number of people away, obviously, from this round due to the Nationals, the Yokohama Improved Production Nationals up at Morgan Park next weekend. We've got 6 or 8 guys that would normally be competing at this round have actually started making their way up to Queensland. So it's made our field a little bit smaller this weekend, but in saying that, we've still got a championship on the line. There's still 3 cars mathematically that can win the championship, although I think Luke might need a lot of rain in the next 2 hours to make that happen. But you never know what happens at Phillip Island.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I did see the big grey cloud coming in this morning thinking, it is going to dump it. But no, right now it's bright sunshine, and you're right, he does need a little bit of help. It's great that it's gone down to the last round of the season, and I guess even more fitting for the sponsors that have been on board this year. Prestige Hino for the first time. They're looking at a very, very tight championship fight right till the very last race this afternoon.
Yes, they certainly are, and great thanks to Prestige Hino for coming on board this year. We've also got 888 Home Loans, DLL Photography and Design, Pro Cut Tree Services, and all our sponsors that help make these events what they are. Obviously, we have you guys with RevHeads TV, and it really helps promote the category. And I've spoken to a number of people in the paddock this weekend, and they're actually building new cars to actually come to IP next year. So our fields will increase. We've got a couple of new cars here this weekend in the grid, so that's really good. So I think our sponsors are getting really good value at the moment. If we can get back to our 40 plus grids next year, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And on top of that, a lot of these are small businesses, ladies and gentlemen. So for small businesses ourselves and a lot of small people, please go out and support those businesses, because they are what makes grassroots motorsport continue to be as successful as it is.
Yokohama has also been a massive part of improved production over the last 30 years. We've been using them as a control tyre, I think, since around the turn of the century. We've had them as a category tyre. Andrew, Shane and the team at Traction Tyres here in Melbourne look after our guys here at the track. Their service is impeccable. Their advice to new guys how to run the tyre. I don't think there's a better Aspect tyre that we could use in improved production racing anywhere in the world. It's an absolutely fantastic tyre, and I hope we use Yokohama for many years to come. We've just signed a new 3-year deal, which is brilliant for the category. Everyone knows the tyre. We've been using it now close on 8 years, I think, so we don't have to change anything. Everyone can continue using the tyre that I think's been absolutely sensational.
We're here with Andrew McCarthy from Traction Tyre Centre. Andrew, you guys have been sponsoring through Yokohama for quite a number of years and supplying for the Victorian guys for quite a number of years. It's really great news that we can announce that there's now a new 3-year national deal for IP that's just been recently signed in this country.
Yeah, great to hear. It has been coming up to 25 years. It has been a long and really positive and exciting journey. We really do have a partnership with IPRA, and my goodness, I've seen so many people come through this category from basically back in the mid-90s, and yeah, great to be a part of it, and it works really well.
Well, it's important you actually said from the 90s, because that was when the contract was signed. We believe it's in 1998, and that actually predates IP. It's actually back in the club car days.
Yeah, indeed. And in that time it was an open agreement, open tyre situation with any brand, and part and parcel of the idea was to get some way to control expenses and get on a level playing field, and that's where this all sort of began. And it's a complicated category to do because there's so many sizes, but in essence, you know, we've moved for all that time and wound up now for what would be, I think, 10 years on AO50 tread pattern, which probably the best part about it is you just keep using that tyre and it keeps coming back with the same speed until it's pretty much worn out. And let's face it, it is about value for money, and that's part of the big picture that keeps people running in IPRA.
Well, you mentioned about wearing out as well, and the one thing I will bring up is the Freedom 4-hour last year, the State Racer 4-hour this year. Guys that can do 130 laps on this AO50 tyre is quite incredible.
Yes, we were there, and you saw me getting blown away by that. I just couldn't believe in that managed environment how well it was. And let's face it, we know it is the quickest Aspect tyre out there. It's a quick tyre, and yet you can get it to do that kind of event and run through and give that consistency. It's great value.
And the last and most important thing, IPRA Yokohama Nationals in a week's time, so we're looking forward to that. But also, we're also looking forward to your continued sponsorship of the Matthew Flinders Plate here in a couple of months, which is going to return to its 12-lap original distance.
Excellent, and that's into double figures now too. I think I've been doing it for 12 years or 13 years or something at least. So, love the event, love Island Magic, and love supporting IPRA in that event. Great event.
Dave, you spent plenty of that second race locked in combat with Paul Javots, which actually just gives a really good illustration of your Datsun against his Honda Civic.
Yeah, that's I guess the good thing about this category. You get cars like this one that's pretty good in a straight line, and his that's good in the corners, and it makes for some interesting racing, some good laps and a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of in the corners, we're led to believe there was actually a bit of oil still laid down from one of the Formula Vs in the race prior that might have just been hampering a little bit of the progress of both of you.
Yeah, I spotted it early and was tiptoeing around Siberia, and you can tell that from the lap times that I was tiptoeing, just trying to bring it home. I knew I had the straight line speed, so I was sort of happy to sit with Paul and just make sure I brought the car home, knowing I could probably get him on a straight line from 12 to the finish line. So ended up getting a little bit more pace in the last few laps and got ahead of him, so it was good.
Well, it looks like we'll be continuing the battle, I think, in race 3. If anything like race 2's judged to go by. You're going to have a fast Mazda behind you, though. Richard Opie had a bit of a stellar run from the back of the grid, and he's right on your tail for the next one.
He did, yeah. I'm not sure what happened to him yesterday. He had a DNF, but he's certainly got some pace in it now. I saw his last couple of laps in that race particularly were very quick, so should be interesting. Can't wait.
Scott, been battling some brake drummers, mainly in the rear on your XL this weekend. Do you want to give us a bit of an insight into it?
Yeah, we have. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of an issue there. We're not exactly sure what's wrong, but we've changed some parts out, and we'll go in this next XL race and just see, test it, make sure it's right for IP. But we're getting on top of it, so we fitted a new proportioning valve up, and that seems to have been helping. And worst case, we'll just crank more to the front and not worry about the rear brakes. But we're going all right.
Yeah, well, it's the front brakes you need here at a couple of particular spots to put the hard stops on. But overall, it's been a pretty successful first season for you in IP. You're running second in the club championship. Looks like it's likely to be third, being a little bit behind Paul Javot's on the road for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Look, we've had a great year. We've done really well in the under 1600s, and then fortunate to be running well in the 2 litres. We obviously haven't got enough power for those guys, but consistency the key. So far we've finished every race this year. We'll keep that going this afternoon, and hopefully we can hang on to that third in under 2s. It'd be really, really good achievement. So, yeah, we're going all right. And, just a big shout-out. Thank you to my team. Thank you to my sponsors, Hugh Brothers Removals, Tiger Tune Lang Warren and Scar Cellar Designs. And thanks to IP for having us this year. We've had a ball. We'll definitely be back next year.
Sadly, and amongst all the excitement from the last round at Sandown, we missed out that Steve Zorkas had done enough to secure the under 2 litre championship for 2022. So he's not here this weekend. The man in second place who has inherited that overall in the championship is Paul Javot's. But Paul, you had gremlins of your own this year. Round 1 you missed out on, and you've had to do a little bit of a rabbit out of a hat job this weekend to overhaul Scott Appledore for second.
Yeah, lucky I finished all 3 races. That was my main thing that I had to do. I'd like to thank Stephen for having a great run this year. He did a really good job. Well done on first place for the season. It's really good to see the Hondas up there right at the front of the field, and we had a great time. Next year we'll be back again and we'll see how we go. So looking forward to next season already.
Third overall in overs for 2022 is Luke Gretchcumbo. Luke, it's been a bit of a trying year, mechanical-wise, setup-wise. There's been a few different gremlins that you've been fighting. Do you think third overall is probably where you wanted to be after all of the dramas you've had?
Yeah, look, you always want to win it, don't you? But yeah, we've had the car's been pretty reliable. The tail shaft at Winton pretty much killed our championship. So I'm happy with third given that. Of course, you always want the medal to hold together. But yeah, I think that's our pace now with those guys. So yeah, happy enough with third.
Second in the club championship in overs this year goes to Jared Tonks. Jared, from where you were last year to this year and the progress that you've made, not only with yourself but with the car, I think second is probably a very fitting result for everything and all the effort you've put in.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yeah, very happy to get second to Paul. Like, obviously, he's got a great car and he's driven really well all year. He missed one round, but yeah, happy to get second. The car's come a long way, so yeah, just try and keep improving for next year. Yep.
First in this year's club championship for the second year running is Adam Poole. Adam, even though you missed round 2 at Winton, you still pretty much dominated this year's championship and the car's been on point every time we've seen it on the track. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. And look, quick thank you to all the other competitors and officials and bits and pieces. The club's a great club over here. I've had another good year. Had a lot of help with the car, with Ravage this year. Dean Lilly and Justin and Andrew have done an amazing job. It's been very difficult to keep it running at times, but we were lucky enough to pretty much, I think, win all but 2 races this year. So good result. Got a lot of support from family at home to let me get across here, so big thank you to them as well. And yeah, thank you to yourselves.
That's it for season 2022. Thankfully, after 2 COVID-hit years, we finally managed to get through all 5 rounds in a club championship season. And I guess it's pretty fitting that we ended up with the championship being decided in the final race of the final round of the season. A big thank you to all our club sponsors, including Prestige Hino, who came on board for the first time this year, and very thankful that they'll be back again next year. Hopefully along with ProCut Tree Services, DLL Photography and Design, the men and women that work really, really hard at 888 Home Loans, and of course the guys at Yokohama Traction Tyres and everybody behind the scenes that lets us put the rubber to the road every week we are racing. For those of you that are tuned in, we'll hopefully see you here for Island Magic, and from what I've been hearing on the wire, it is definitely going to be an event worth getting your car out of the garage for. Please join us here in November, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.